Well, today's reflection is from Luke chapter 1, from verses 5 to 25, and it's the birth of John the Baptist being foretold. In the time of Herod, king of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, who belonged to the priestly division of Abijah. His wife Elizabeth was also a descendant of Aaron. Both of them were upright in the sight of God, observing all the Lord's commandments and regulations blamelessly. But they had no children, because Elizabeth was barren, and they were both well on in years. Once, when Zechariah's division was on duty and he was serving as priest before God, he was chosen by lot, according to the custom of the priesthood, to go into the temple of the Lord and burn incense. And when the time for the burning of incense came, all the assembled worshippers were praying outside. Then an angel of the Lord appeared to him, standing at the right side of the altar of incense. When Zechariah saw him, he was startled and gripped with fear. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah. Your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you are to give him the name John. He will be a joy and delight to you, and many will rejoice because of his birth, for he will be great in the sight of the Lord. He is never to take wine or other fermented drink, and he will be filled with the Holy Spirit, even from birth. Many of the people of Israel will he bring back to the Lord their God, and he will go on before the Lord in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers to their children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord." Zechariah asked the angel, "How can I be sure of this? I am an old man, and my wife is well on in years." The angel answered, "I am Gabriel. I stand in the presence of God, and I have been sent to speak to you and tell you this good news. And now you will be silent and not able to speak until the day this happens, because you did not believe my words, which will come true at their proper time." Meanwhile, the people were waiting for Zechariah and wondered why he stayed so long in the temple. When he came out, he could not speak to them. They realised he had seen a vision in the temple, for he kept making signs to them, but remained unable to speak. When his time of service was completed, he returned home. After this, his wife Elizabeth became pregnant, and for 5 months remained in seclusion. "The Lord has done this for me," she said. "In these days he has shown his favour and taken away my disgrace among the people." I wonder if we can perhaps empathise more with Zechariah and Elizabeth this year. The first few verses in this passage tell us that they were both righteous before God, that they walked blamelessly in all the commandments. And yet, years passed without the blessing that they longed for, their own prayer for a child, being answered. One of the most frustrating things about 2020, for me personally, has been the lack of reward for good behaviour. Wearing masks, staying socially distant, closing our home to friends and family, and yet each week there would be more restrictions, less places that we could go, few people that we could meet up with. We still can't sing at church, we still can't have meals together in one another's homes. It often feels that everything that we're doing right doesn't seem to matter. Zechariah and Elizabeth did everything that they were meant to do. And despite their circumstances, when it didn't seem to matter, they continued to serve and to trust God as best they could. And then it did matter. After years of apparent silence, God declares that he has heard and answered their prayer, that they will have a child, and not just any child, but one who would prepare the way for the Messiah. After years of serving and trusting, of almost blind faith, Zechariah, with more evidence than he's ever had, does not believe that God can make this happen. Isn't it ironic that Zechariah's faith was stronger when God seemed absent than it was when God was very evidently present? That is the challenge of Christmas to us this year. To trust in a God that actually shows up, that fulfills his promises and answers our prayers. That is the message of a baby in a manger. That is the Christmas story.